Well, hello everyone, and thanks for tuning in to today's video. My name is Kinga Wilson, and I'm with Insight Recruitment, and I'm delighted to be joined by Damian Rozairo, CEO of V2verify. So Damian, thanks for joining us today. Can I ask you to give us a quick introduction so people have an understanding of what you do at V2verify?
Okay, I am, like I said, I'm Damian Rozairo, founder and CEO of V2verify. The best way to explain what we do is possibly start with a question. Have you ever felt the frustration of a forgotten PIN, an answer to a password, or a challenge question?
Yes.
If your answer is yes, then it makes it very easy for me to explain what we do. What we have is we've used a voice biometric technology to resolve that problem. So when you access a portal, when you're trying to log into a mobile app, when you're trying to get into your office, when you're trying to talk to your bank, you can actually authenticate and identify yourself by just speaking rather than having to remember and type anything or repeat anything specific. So it's really about using who you are, what your voice is to actually be able to identify you. And that's what we do.
Wow, interesting. So tell us more about V2verify. If you don't mind.
So as a company, where we started, if you think about it, and I use banking as an example all the time because it's kind of the easiest way to explain this. So the question, the why is simplify life. Why are we there? We're there to simplify life. How do we do it? We use a biometric to simplify. But let me explain a bit further how this works. Why is it that when you go to a bank and you walk into a branch, you have to have some ID to show you? If you want to log into their mobile app, you could actually have a password. If you want to call them, you're going to answer challenge questions. Yeah. If you want to go to the ATM, you're going to have a PIN. That is an awful customer experience. So what we have been able to do is we look for a way to be able to identify and confirm a person's identity. In other words, authenticate a person using one method across every one of those channels. And at V2verify, what we've been able to do is we've been able to use voice as that option. And the reason is this. Our technology is able to confirm and identify a person with 2 seconds of speech. What does that mean? It means that at the end of you saying a US phone number, for example, a 10-digit phone number, that is enough speech for us to be able to identify you. Now, we don't need you to say anything specific. It can be anything random as long as we have 2 seconds of speech. So repeat 12 random numbers, say your phone number, say your name and address, do anything that you want to speak about. And we can use that speech to identify you.
What is to stop somebody from recording my voice and playing it back for such purposes?
Our technology includes a standardized recording detection or liveness test, as we call it. Yeah. So, for example, if you're doing an unmanned transaction of some sort where you're logging into a mobile app or a portal where it's unmanned, yeah. Where a recording potentially could be tried to be used, we actually use random words or random numbers and make you repeat them, right? So, say the numbers 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we will verify that you said it. So we actually eliminate the possibility of being able to use a recording in those situations.
Okay. So V2 Voice, that's the actual product?
V2verify, we have a product called V2 Access, which is actually the product that is the access control product.
Okay, so I was trying to ask, what makes V2 Voice biometric special?
What our accuracy rates in our customers testing and live deployments, we're finding accuracy rates of 99.4% plus. Which makes the technology one of the most accurate in the world. I mean, that's way more accurate than fingerprint, facial recognition, or any other voice technology out there. Wow. And what is important to talk about when you're talking about accuracy also is in our current environment where people are wearing masks, facial recognition doesn't really work. Yeah. Now, our 99.4% accuracy that we just got out of a client that's just reported this back to us is actually coming when people are actually wearing masks. Masks, the different types of masks, whether they're cloth, whether they're N95, it doesn't matter. We're still achieving that high level of accuracy. And we're also achieving a very important factor, which is 0 false accepts. So we never let the wrong person in. We may keep the right person out sometimes, which drops us below the 100%, but we're not letting the wrong person in. So we're actually achieving really high accuracy rates, including masks in this current environment. we're a touchless biometric, so you don't actually have to touch anything to make us work, right? So when you're talking about COVID-19 and all the infection spread and all that, you don't actually have to touch anything. But we're actually really being able to do it in 2 seconds of speech, high levels of accuracy in a touch-free environment. That's what makes us really special at this point, and we're gaining a lot of traction because of that.
Yeah, I believe that. Wow, that's great. So what are some popular use cases?
Most popular use cases are in access control to data. So basically your mobile apps, you're logging into portals, logging into your work computer systems. Those are some of the most common use cases. And the other one is a call center. We can eliminate all those questions that get asked when you actually call your bank, call your airline. You know, they want to know answers to questions that you don't remember the answers to. We can eliminate all that, because imagine if you call your bank and say, you know, hi, my name is Damian, I need my account balance. At the end of that statement, I can be identified, and therefore I don't need to answer those questions. So those are some of the most popular use cases. But beyond that, now we're actually getting into some use cases where the mobile workforce, for example, is looking for ways to identify that the right person showed up at the right place. So if you think about traveling nurses, people who provide home health care, janitorial services, those environments where people have gone through certain levels of background checks, certain levels of certification checks, to make sure that the right person showed up to actually perform the task, because there's no supervision at the environment.
And you may get this question all the time, but you know, what if somebody's got a frog in their throat, you know, a cold or sinus infection? I mean, won't that affect?
No, I mean, the average cold, the flu does not affect your voice to a point where we can identify you, so we can identify through those situations. What really can affect it is if you have something like throat surgery that actually completely alters your voice and your voice parameters, it can affect it. But we also have an AI engine that actually, as you grow and as you age and your voice changes, we have an AI engine that sits in the background and actually learns your voice as it goes along too. So our AI with our technology put together, you know, the more you use the system, the better the system gets to identifying it. And I equate that to, if you meet a person for the first time and then try to remember their voice, it's harder. But if it's someone like in your family that you're talking to almost every day, your brain remembers that voice no matter how it works. They may have a call, but you can still recognize their voice. Our technology is very similar to that. So the more you use the technology, the better it gets at identifying you.
That's great. So interesting. Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, this has been really helpful to get a better understanding of your business, Damian. Thanks for taking the time to do this and tell us a little about V2verify. I wonder if you'd like to share how someone can reach you if they would like more information, like maybe your website.
Yes, you can reach us at www.v2, the letter V, the number 2, verify.com. And that's probably the best way to reach us and find our contact information.
Well, thanks again, Damian, and have a great rest of your day.
All right, thanks for having me. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.